And the promo, by the way, it was very like Jake Roberts-esque in that you weren't doing any shouting, you weren't very
Yeah.
loud on the mic. It was
Yeah.
almost like, again, we had to like sort of lean in to hear what you had to say. When in your career do you think that you really started to dial in your ability on the microphone, Ted?
I really couldn't say, Marcus. I don't know. It was one of those things. It's like, I remember that when I first started wrestling, that I wasn't, obviously I was on the opening match, and I wasn't doing interviews, but I went to the TV station I think back then, this was in Shreveport at the TV station. And because all the guys, I can't remember what day of the week it was. I think it was Wednesday. Oh no, here's the deal. We would wrestle in Shreveport on Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, they would do their interviews for that week at the TV station. And Dick Murdoch and Killer Carl Cox, and those were the highliners at the time. And then we would drive from Shreveport 200 miles to Jackson, Mississippi, where I live now, and have a show. But on Wednesday morning, they would do the interviews. But every Wednesday, I didn't have to be up, and I didn't have to go down there, but I would go down to the TV station, and I knew what the angles were, and I paid attention, and I just listened. I listened to the guys that were really good on the mic, and I just tried to glean from them. And gradually, that's how I got it. So,
The other thing that's really interesting is that you had this really very unique promo style that was all yours whenever you got to the WWF. And so, but however, it's different from that promo that you just delivered here in Georgia, and you were a heel in both territories. So
yeah.
it's really fascinating how kind of versatile you would go on to be when it came to delivering your promos. Were you delivering promos like in front of a mirror to practice, or were you more just like absorbing and then you just go out there and give it your best shot?
Marcus, back then, brother, I knew what the program was, and I would have an idea, but I never. It wasn't until much later when the WWF became the WWE, and they would give you scripted stuff, and I told them even then, I said, you can give me this, but I'm not going to say what's on this thing word for word. I'm going to take the idea that I see is being expressed here, and I'm going to do it my way. Because if I don't do it my way, then it's not going to sound like me. And that's what I did. And they let me do it, because they know I could.
Man, nowadays everything, from what I hear, I'm obviously not behind the scenes in WWE, but from what I hear, everything is scripted, and you have to hit all these points, and it's like, we hear that back in like even the late '90s, it was more like bullet points. They'd say like, "Hey, we want you to go out there and say something to this effect," and they
Yeah.
go out there and do it. But now apparently, you're kind of more of a soap opera actor than you are a wrestler sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
No, no. And I mean, I'm not gonna knock it. I mean, that's the other thing. I was like, I don't. I guess I'm old school because I was raised old school, and that's how it worked for me. And and I'm not Vince McMahon, and I don't know all that Vince McMahon knows. And who knows? Maybe there's a reason now, for them to follow a script. But I just never had to.